Welcome to the OPDFoundHer podcast.
We are two women who knew nothing about starting a business, but with our faith and a lot of determination, we founded our company that has grown to over 7 figures in just 3 years.
We're sharing all that we've learned, our secrets to building a brand and a long-lasting foundation to gain time and financial freedom.
We're both moms to 4 kiddos, and through the peaks and valleys of being a business owner, we're finding our true purpose, and it's more than we ever imagined.
So join us as we get real and have some fun along the way. Welcome back.
Here we are.
How was your weekend?
Oh my gosh, too fast. But I will tell you, yesterday, I think I was a slug. I melted into my couch, and I loved every minute of it.
Oh my gosh, we had a really busy week last week.
I couldn't walk when I woke up on Saturday morning, and I was home, and I had to stand up. I literally could not walk across my room. My legs hurt so bad.
So we took is that our second or third time at the Atlanta market?
Third time to Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
But this was, I would say, our most successful, best use of our time, really got so much accomplished week. We went into it with a purpose and a strategy.
And a list of what we needed to check off.
Yeah. I think actually we're going to do a video on our YouTube channel of our tips and tricks on how to
I honestly think we do an entire, let's do an entire episode.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
On how to prepare for it, what to do when you're there. And then also, what do you do when you get back? Because I don't know about you, my week is jam-packed of work to do.
Already there's stuff I feel like I should have finished up
on Saturday.
Before, yeah. Anyways,
here we go.
So that's really fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
And the Lions just won. That's what I did on Sunday. That was really exciting.
You have to root for the Lions.
I'm a Michigan girl, and I grew up with Barry Sanders, and this is a really big deal for Detroit. So I'm pretty psyched.
I won't know who to root for if the Chiefs end up making it to the Super Bowl, because let's go Mahomes.
Okay.
I know.
Sorry. Enough about football. Oh gosh. And then we had something really fun happen this morning. We Oh
yeah. How did I forget already?
I know.
We filmed with Channel 4. We're a segment with Channel 4 News.
I know, which is really exciting. They reached out to us about doing a story because we give back and all of our philanthropy work. That's a big word.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it. You'll learn that about me, spelling. Actually, no, I can spell. I can't say the words. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I know the definitions.
Or know the definitions.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Oh gosh.
I feel like we should mix it up a little bit because she actually asked us a funny question that might kick us off well today. She asked how we get along, or I don't know if I forget.
What's it like?
How do you guys work together? Or were you friends? And then how do you
balance it?
How do you deal with each other?
Basically, how do you guys do it?
Right. And so, especially just coming off of a whole week where we literally lived together for the whole week, 24/7.
Every meal was together. We didn't have separate hotel rooms. We stayed in an Airbnb. We shopped all day together.
Yeah. We were together a lot. So how do you, and that's hard, even with your own children, having that much time together is really hard, or being with another human being.
I know.
So one of our questions that we got this week was, what was it again? How do you get along?
Yeah. Oh, yes. How do we get along? How do we make it work?
Yeah. Do we ever fight?
I know.
What do we do when we disagree? It's really tricky too, being in an all women business, right? Women owned, women ran. All of our, everybody that works here, our team is all women.
And everybody's we all have opinions,
it can be super crazy, but, I don't know. I feel like the reason I know that God has his hand in this whole thing is because I don't think that there are he could not have picked this sounds okay, we need a little bit cheesy. God chose you for me. But we both have really strong personalities.
Yeah.
We have bold opinions. We're both stubborn. We don't back down.
We both think we're right all of the time.
We are passionate about our feelings, So when you put two of those things together, it can really make for a very challenging thing. And I think a lot of other people struggle when they are building up a small business. One, I'm not going to say it's impossible to do alone, because I know many strong women who do start their own businesses alone, but man, does it make it easier when you have somebody else to lean on and that has strengths that you don't have. Mm-hmm. So that's how I know that we are like literally the perfect pair, because things that I don't enjoy doing, right? I don't enjoy finances. I don't enjoy a lot of the technical computer work. I don't enjoy it. Like that's not really my strength. Mm-hmm. I'm more of like organized, creative, some, that kind of.
Those two words together sometimes don't mesh, organized and creative.
I know. I think I am a weird, right? I think I am like this weird anomaly though that came from I came from a medical background, right? Where it's science and like I do have that part of my brain, but then I also have this like creativity, visual, and maybe my mind is organized. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you see how you want things to be. And then we're both, I think at the end of the day though, have like a ton of grit, and just don't you dare tell me like what's possible, because I will like so prove you wrong. And we have that like, just we'll figure it out. Like we're going to figure it out. We'll find the answer. All of that. Okay. Yeah. But that didn't really answer the question. What do we do when we disagree?
Well, hold on. I have something to say about what you just said.
I arm wrestle her and I win.
I feel like too, that's one thing that I had been told, like determination. I remember like that was like a strength I've had since I was like a little kid. Like, don't ever tell me I can't do something, because that is fuel to my fire. Because I'll let you know when it's done. Right. And I've never met anybody else that had that same. Some people might have it, but to really like live there, like, don't tell me I can't, because I'll let you know when I do. Right.
Actually do the follow through steps of like,
here you go.
And this is how I'm going to make that happen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Until we met each other and I was like, oh my gosh, like we have literally the same, like,
but you think that when there's like same, it could really like butt heads. Cause you think about it, usually there's a strong, I'm not going to say a strong and a weak, but like a person that was typically more like amenable and will like, compromise and all of that. And I don't feel like either of us compromises a lot. We tend to just agree on a lot.
We tend to agree a lot. I think, well, that's the thing is with what we do, that's an eye, right? And it translates into so many things, whether it's home design, whether it's event design or color palettes or anything like that. It just can't be taught. And it's something that shows up in all aspects of the business. So I think we have a very similar eye, which is helpful.
And I think that we started small, which is I think what we're going to talk about, but it's not like we just jumped into business together and invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a business together. We really didn't. We started working together small, right? We started in our little, our booth together, and then we started in the shed together and just scaled it. And we're like, okay, this is working.
Now what? Kind of.
Right?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I think that I think to answer your question, of course, do we disagree? Absolutely. And do we have different strengths, but at the same point, I think we have very much the same vision. And when we don't agree, we talk about it. Like we literally talk about it.
We talk about it. What she means is she will make you talk about it. If you just need like a minute to maybe like, sometimes some people need to step away from a situation and just have a little bit of quiet with their thoughts and their own feelings to figure out. But no, she will not let you have that. She will chase you into a parking lot and make you talk about it.
I don't chase you.
You have chased me into a parking
lot. You have disappeared and then I find you.
It is true. I would rather run away. I don't always want to talk about my feelings all the time. I would rather avoid. Really. I would rather avoid than confront 100% all the time. Like if I just ran away, it would simmer down and it would kind of just get shoved under a rug and like I would move on about it. No big deal. But you make us like talk it out in the moment, which is good. And sometimes it's heated maybe, but at the end of the day, we both vocalize our feelings and then we figure out like, okay,
right.
What what are we going to do? How do we make this work?
Right.
I feel like a lot of times we could be like therapists.
Yeah. Like what I hear you saying, here's what I hear. And then when we go to find the solutions, like, well, if we're considering what you just brought up, like, here's our solutions. And well, if you're bringing that up, here's what I think. Like, we do talk a lot about.
Well, and sometimes I'll be like, well, you clearly are like more passionate about this than I am. So why don't you just go for it and do what you want? Because sometimes I don't care as much about a certain topic as you do, and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Yeah. But I think moral of the story, yes, we disagree.
Yeah.
But not on the big stuff. It's always the little tedious stuff, that like the tiny things. Like I was so mad about the bud vases. Oh, you're in Atlanta and you're like, I promise I didn't get rid of them. And I was like, where are they then? And there wasn't when I thought I was right. And then you reminded me, remember that other place that we went to? And I was like, darn, she's right.
What was it again?
That's where they were from.
What?
Right. Yeah. I told you that day too. But I think it's really good. We talk about things, whether it doesn't matter, because our intention is never to put each other down or to make each other feel bad. It's literally just to talk about it because it is our business together and we have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And we never, but key word here, especially when you have a team and you are partners and you have a team, they can never feel anything that the partners go through, right? Like, well, it's funny. They think that we're bickering a lot, but we're not. We're just like old married people because we're talking it out. And we're like, this is actually a really great conversation. So I think we're getting somewhere. But our team, and this is something that I think I pride myself on, they don't see us fighting with each other because we don't.
Right, because that could cause a lot of stress for the whole team.
And make them feel uncomfortable. That's just unacceptable.
What would you say, though, to another woman, right, or man, who has this idea that once, it's just starting out, do you feel like they should look for a business partner to do it with someone, or can they do it on their own?
I think that you can definitely do it on your own and not to go out searching. We didn't go searching for each other. No. We found each other. Found her. Funny. But no, I think try it by yourself. Yeah. And if you are supposed to be in that business with a partner, God's going to put your partner right in front of you.
Yeah. And I would say, though, that the number one thing that I would do is hire somebody that has the strengths that you are weak in. Mm-hmm. So if you already know you're the creative genius, you've come up with this great idea, but you are terrible with a financial structure and like all the foundational pieces that you truly need to start a business, like you can't just have a great idea. You have to structure it and build it. Right. So hire the people that you already know you're not good at. Don't try to do all the things that you're not good at because you're not going to do them well. Right. And you're not going to enjoy doing them. So you're going to put them off. You're going to procrastinate. You're going to be like, I don't really know what I'm doing with my quarterly taxes. So I'm just not, I don't know. I can't think about it. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm just going to like put it off. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to put yourself in a really bad position. So hire even the things that you don't like doing, just hire it out. Trust me. I know you'll think I don't have any extra money. I'm trying to scrimp and save everything, but
we're going to help you with all that.
It will be worth it. Yeah, for sure. Because you've got to have somebody you can't. I know y'all think that we're just good at everything, but we're really not. We also hire the people who help us in the ways that we, the things that we don't know about either. So,
right. And I think we can talk about that. And I think it's upcoming here in a couple of weeks, but about particularly one hire that had we known this, it would have been our first.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's tricky. We get it when you're starting out. There's really no extra money at all. I mean, you're not even paying. We didn't pay ourselves.
We didn't go on payroll in 3 years.
3 years, right?
4 years. We didn't pay ourselves for 4 years.
Yeah.
We would, I don't know, maybe get a sweatshirt.
Compensate ourselves in some way.
Yeah, we'd get like a sweatshirt or taper candles that came in that looked really cool.
Like, oh my gosh, I like them. We're like, oh, we have it right. And we would pay ourselves in like products.
Yeah, right. But we didn't necessarily we weren't put on paychecks, payroll until, and we were 4 years in. Yeah.
And that's the pandemic. Okay. But that's also why we kept our other jobs. We had to keep our other jobs. We couldn't just quit and dive into this. We really made sure that this was up and running and could pay us something. I mean, it certainly wasn't what our careers were, but you have to start somewhere, and we were okay with that. And
well, I think there's a lot. We didn't just wake up and say, oh, we're going to do this business. Like, yeah, let's quit our jobs. There was so much preparation that led to the day where we resigned.
Yes. And I think it's important to note, I mean, some women are in different positions, but we did not have husbands or partners who we had a true career, and we made a significant half of our family's household income. We really were half of that. So we didn't have somebody that could just cover us while we, played around with a little idea. You know what I mean? I mean, some people just think, oh, you're just, you're going to run a little store and have a little shop. And this always, I think, from the very get-go was much bigger and we always saw it as bigger. Yes, having a little store and growing, and that is all part of the story. But I think that the way we have always visualized this business from the very beginning was more than just a little store.
Yeah, agree. 100% agree. And, not only that, but when we were making these decisions, it wasn't just about, us and our significant others. We both have kids, and mine was still growing at the time. You had 4 and I had 2. One had 3 kids since we started this whole thing. But I remember right after we started working together, and I was like, I found out I was pregnant with Cole, and I was like, we have a wedding and I'm pregnant. And then the twins came, but we had to think about our families, right? Like how will this decision, and then also starting it, but then also leaving a career that paid really, really well for both of us, how does that impact our families? And I think that's one thing that for me, I knew I wanted to step away from the career I was in. I was sick and tired of it. I was exhausted. And I knew to do that, I had to be thoughtful and planful and change lifestyle a little bit. And that was okay with me because it meant that I was home and present.
Yeah. So for me, when we first got our little store, which I said no to many times.
I think you still say no at times. It's too late.
It's really, really too late. Now, my marriage, was a mess. My finances were a mess. I just wasn't in this. I just feel like people think they have to have all the little ducks in a row in order to take a leap of faith and do what they have been called to do. Your ducks will never be in a row. Your finances most likely will never be all lined up. It's not like you're, going to get this inheritance and, now I can start the business I've always dreamed of. That doesn't happen for many people. And everything may not line up perfectly. And if you wait for it, your time will have passed and you will have wasted so much time waiting for everything to be ready. So when I took that leap to get the little store with you, I mean, obviously I did still have my other career that I worked that on night weekends. And then, I'd work in the little store, and you were pregnant with the twins at the time. It didn't make a lot of sense.
No, not for either one of us. It made no sense.
It made no sense. But I think also something about us, I think probably actually any entrepreneur, every single entrepreneur that says, I'm going to do this, it takes guts. It takes guts. And sometimes there's not always logic in it. No, but you will make, will make it happen.
You figure it out. And I remember that was one thing that you and I would always talk about when we were in the little store is like, well, we should be open more. What about this? And I remember it was me that kept saying, who cares? It's our story. We get to write it as we want to. So like,
and that was huge for me because I always thought you had to do it like everybody else did it.
Yeah.
We need to be open 10 to 5. We need to be open 5-6 days a week. This is what everybody expects. These are what stores do. This is what we have to do. And that was probably the best thing that you could have drilled into my brain from a very like early time was this is our story. We get to do what we want.
Yeah.
And that was huge for me. And what pressure it took off of expectations that I think I had of ourselves that didn't need to be there. Yeah. It's our own story.
Yeah. We had closed the store sometimes because we had to, you know, I remember you do what you have to do.
Right. So I think you were out with the twins and Parker was in preschool. And I remember choosing a preschool specifically that was close to the store so I could put a little close sign on the door, out for lunch or whatever it was, so that I'd close the store, I'd run and get him from preschool. Yeah. It was okay that I closed the door, that I closed the whatever. Came back, still didn't have anybody else to watch him and didn't have money for childcare, honestly. Even if I did have somebody or a babysitter or a nanny, I couldn't afford that at the time. Are you kidding me? No. So he came right back to the store with me, worked the rest of the afternoon until the kids got on the bus. We must have closed.
We closed it like
around the bus time, around 3:00 or so every day because I would have had to get home for the bus.
Yeah. Because I worked during the week. I worked Monday through Friday. And then I would come and we'd stay late on Fridays. I would come, like I'd work early that day so I could leave work by like 3 to come to the store. And then I'd close the store and then I'd work the Saturday.
And I would leave from the store and I would drive into Boston to work my night shift.
Yep. But we made it work.
Sounds so awful. Well, now, like looking back at it.
Well, it's really funny as you were talking about the hours. You're like, we should be open 10 to 5. We should be open 5 to 6 days a week. Guess what? We are now as we've built a team. And we've been in business now or going on 8 years. So,
yeah,
but it's okay.
But the point of all that is is that it is okay. Like whatever you have to do, it's okay. It's your story. You get to write it however you want. You get to be whatever.
It's yours.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, that's the one thing also, we never paid attention to what anybody else was doing because her story was different. And we also, not to mention when we were in that little store, we were both going through really big things in our lives. And you know what? Like at the end of the day, we're people too. And we have families. And what's most important and has always been most important is our families. So we did it.
Yeah. And you can't let what other people say get to you either. I remember,
I don't know.
I probably shouldn't bring it up, but I feel like there was maybe a client from an event that I think we had to move her consult or something. And you're like, I'm so sorry. Like, I need to attend my mother's funeral. And she went crazy because we should not have moved her consult. It was like something ridiculous, but you can't let things like that get to you because that's like just craziness. Like life happens and give yourself some grace and move on.
And at the end of the day, I don't know, your family, that's most important.
Yeah. That is one of our main, like on our missions and values is that family comes first. And you probably have to remind me that the most. You will tell me to leave here, go home for dinner. I will just keep working. There's always, and I used to be proud of me. I gave my brother this advice. Actually, just yesterday, I was talking to him and I said, the work will always be there. Just go on the vacation or go on the trip or go out to dinner or whatever. And I was like, oh my, as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like talking like her now. Because you always said the work will always be there. And yes, you want to go and you want to grind and you want to be successful. Of course you do. But if you can't balance out your life, the rest of your life will suffer. Your family will suffer. Like everything else will crumble. And then what? Then what?
Right. And what's it all for then?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I have taken some of my mom's advice and I manipulate it into every aspect of my life. She used to say, I can't remember if it was her mom that would say this to her. No one will ever know if you did the dishes tonight or tomorrow morning. So Make your choice.
I will know when I do my dishes at night.
I will leave my, well, Tyler usually does dishes, but I will use that thought process, right? Because you may never get the chance.
I got the principle. I do like waking up to a clean kitchen, and even after a party, I will still stay up till 2 a.m. to like clean my counters and my dishes because I want to wake up that way.
Sure.
But the principle is nobody knows if you vacuumed or like nobody knows. Nobody cares, honestly.
No.
Right?
And if they care, who cares? Leave them, go whatever. Bye. That's my thought.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's our main takeaway is I think for anybody starting out is that you're in charge of your own story.
Yeah.
You get to write it. You get to make your own rules, which honestly, that's the whole reason
that's why we're
entrepreneurs, right? Like we didn't want to you want to be your own boss, right? So you get to make your own rules. And obviously there's guidelines and principles and all that stuff.
But, well, then that just remind yourself, and that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you know that you want to take a big jump, you don't just wake up one day and be like, today's the day, that's it, and have no thought. If you are responsible for humans and things.
I think one of the first blogs that I wrote actually for Only Prettier was about the balance between motherhood and working and the balance and all of that. I feel like that's like a question we get asked all the time. And you hear it all over the place. Work-life balance. Please. I know we like both like roll our eyes.
Like, no such thing. So if you're searching for it, you're going to be looking forever. There is no such thing.
There is no work-life balance. And I think the biggest probably thing for me going from the job that I had to this is that when my shift ended and I walked out those front doors, it was done. I could very easily compartmentalize that shit, whatever awful thing had happened at the hospital, like that was done and out of my mind. And then I could just move on and like focus with my week. And I loved having that, like you leave work, you leave it all behind.
Yeah.
And being your own entrepreneur, your own boss is like, oh my God, like you think about this business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it is very hard sometimes to really shut it off, shut it down, not thinking about all the to-dos, because that work will always be there.
Yeah. And in my work, I didn't have that. We were on, it sounds like I was in medicine too. Cause I'm like, we're on call 24/7. But basically,
and you might have had a better time of like knowing how to balance that because
I had to. Yeah.
You had been doing that all that time. I had never really had to. I had a job where really I could have my days off were mine. And then, I think I had a hard time with that. But I still probably, I think I will always probably struggle a little bit with that.
Oh yeah. I'm already getting ready for when you have to go, when you're going to Hawaii. I already know that week leading up, I'm going to be stressed out thinking I'm leaving and I have to remind
you. Well, and you know how I get. So I do.
Always, it's like the whole world is shutting down for 2 weeks. It's not. Though.
Yes. I need to have everything done, wrapped up about like all the clients. Like I will feel like I need to,
I know.
I'm ready for everything. And I get a little bit crazy. And so she's already preparing for it.
It's fine. And then I'm going, it's like,
that's going to be amazing though. But, and I will say once I'm on that plane, I can shut it off.
Right.
Typically because I don't have Wi-Fi or like a good internet signal. And then I really can unplug. But
yeah, I think we should do a whole episode because there's going to be people that don't agree with us when we're like, there's no such thing as work-life balance. I think that's a whole episode in itself. We need to talk about it and talk about why and how we actually manage it. It's like, it's ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And that's
but a good reminder is, ask your questions, ask us anything.
Yeah. It will put out in Instagram stories. I think we'll do it. I think once or twice a week where you can just respond to the story and just ask us a question or share with us a story we could share.
Yeah. Because chances are we've dealt with it. I mean, I think we've learned, I think it's hard for me to even remember back to the beginning. I think I've kind of blocked it out. It's traumatized me now. But however you're feeling or whatever you're going through, I think as a person thinking even about starting something, we've been there. We get it. We've felt it. We've most likely experienced it, and we're here to help like relieve some of the, the pain points.
Well, and also like you're not alone. You don't feel like when you're going through something in your business, like no one else has dealt with it, because 90% of the time someone else has. It might not be circumstance, might not be the exact same, but conceptually, I'm sure
everybody's starting somewhere. Where were we? We were, it's awesome too, coming from the Atlanta market. You get to meet a lot of the owners of these small businesses.
Yeah, awesome.
And you show up, right? And you look at their display and you're like, oh my gosh, they've made it. Like whatever the huge brand was. I can't exactly remember what the brand was, but it was something big that's like a household name that everybody knows and everybody probably has. And then we were hearing the story of the owner, like literally selling this out of the trunk of his car.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh my, you forget, I think that all of these businesses are products we carry. They all started somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with selling something out of the back of your car.
No.
Or you hear that story all the time, selling something door to door or whatever it may be. Like, it's okay that we started in a basement and then sold out of a shed. And then, you've got to come from somewhere, and nothing is, nothing's beneath you.
Yeah. Like Howard Schultz went to, I'm going to mess up the stat. It's either 13 or 25. I forget. But when he had the idea of Starbucks, he went to, I don't know why my gut's leading me to 25. I'm going to have to Google this. But he went to like 25 investors, and on the 26th, he got a yes. Imagine if he gave up at 24.
Right.
We wouldn't know what
25
Starbucks.
Rejections is a lot.
I can't remember.
Well, whatever it is, it's still enough rejections that you think, would I go through that many rejections?
Right.
I don't know if I would. Do I have that kind of tenacity to keep going, or do I believe in myself enough that I would keep going? I don't know. I might give up, to be honest.
I know, right?
That's kind of a tough one.
It is, but I remember when I heard that.
It's too old. I don't have the kind of energy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We are way off my numbers. Of the 242 investors Schultz approached, 217 rejected his idea.
Okay, you were off by like a
100.
Yeah.
But either way, you get what you know what I was trying to say, right? Like, had he given up, the world would not know Starbucks Coffee Company. I did work there, and I should know that, but I forgot.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Just goes to show.
Okay. Don't give up.
Yeah.
That's the theme of the week.
All right.
So do we have any fun questions?
We do have a fun question.
Ask Us Anything segment.
No questions off limits.
Da.
What is your dream vacation?
So I am a bit of a traveler.
Just a bit.
The two of us. Dee Dee does not like to travel. She's more of the homebody and a local traveler by car. A traveler by car.
No. Traveler over land.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
I'll stay in the US.
I've been a lot of places, and I have a pretty good bucket list. But my next trip that I'm excited about will hopefully be Iceland next fall.
Like this coming fall?
Yep. Also known as this fall. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay.
You got to get planning.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to take my own advice. Just book the trip.
All the details will fall into place.
Right. Just take the time off. Ask your boss for the time off. And just do it. Just book it.
Yep.
Save the money. I already have it saved. I have my own little like vacation account that I put a little bit in there so that when, I try to go on one. This is my advice to everybody. You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to give it to you. Everybody takes family vacations and stuff with your kids. My advice is do one trip for yourself.
Go alone.
You can go alone. You can go with a girlfriend. You can go with your mom. You can go with a sister. Not your kids. Do one trip.
Or your husband.
Yeah, it could just be with your husband. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't do that. No. One trip that is truly just for you.
Yeah.
And you can go alone or you can go with somebody, but just even if it's just a weekend, go for yourself. So I don't actually know who's coming. I think I'm going to open it up. So if you want to go to Iceland, if you could just message in the little chat, we'll put together a group of people, but I want to go in October. Northern Lights are on my bucket list for sure. So I want to check this off, and I want to hike the glaciers and the waterfalls, and I want to do all the things.
Okay. I would like to, I have been at many places, many. However, because I used to travel so much for work, people at Terminal C and Logan Airport knew me by first name. So I don't enjoy it anymore. It's that tank has exploded. I don't like it. I don't want to fill it. It's not fun. I'm good. However, I do like to go places, and I like to go to places that I love. So for example, we go to Charleston every other year.
And for me, I don't want to ever go back to the same place twice. Yeah. Like ever.
I go to, that's my happy place. I would live there if I could. I'd start walking on 95, and Tyler can fly there and meet me. I'll buy all new things. I don't even care. I buy nothing. I don't care. I'll sleep outside it. I don't
really care. Probably have a plan for how you are going to move there. You're going to get like the second home there?
Can't afford that.
Well, you have to just,
We're still kicking ourselves for not buying it when we were there on a honeymoon. But honestly, one thing, so I said I used to travel for work, and one market to my boss that I always she would have me cover all these markets. If there was a turnover at district manager, I would cover the market. Yeah. So, I mean, I've had Oklahoma, I've had Texas, I've had Minnesota, I've had Wisconsin, I everywhere. All I wanted was Alaska. I just wanted to cover Alaska. Wow. And she never gave it to me. We never got it. I don't think that market really
Do they have Starbucks in Alaska?
Well, so for PAC, the Alaska market was part of Seattle. Oh. So I would have covered Seattle and then Portland and that whole area.
Yeah. So Alaska's definitely on my list. But I think you have to cross water to get there. Is that okay?
That's different. I don't know. I've got a different mindset. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's still, you can take like a boat there?
Maybe, I don't know, train. I don't know.
Maybe there's a cruise that leaves out of Seattle. Would you go on a cruise?
No, never again. Never again will I go on a cruise.
You won't do an Alaskan cruise?
Well, I don't know if I can have service. I don't like being, like, I went on a cruise and I felt disconnected. I couldn't get in touch with anybody.
But you were in a different country, so.
Right. Like, is it different? I don't know. I haven't done the research. But right now, that is one, I'm not planning it anytime soon, and nor do I want to go anytime soon. But it is a place that I would enjoy to go to, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Super adventurous, outdoorsy. Yeah. This might be the first place that we could agree on to ever go together, because she's never wanted to go anywhere that I want to go.
Because I don't want to fly over the Atlantic Ocean.
No, and you don't want to see jungles and
eat insects. You do weird things. I don't want to do all that. I just want to sit on a beach in like a tropical place. I can do that.
Okay, Alaska's not that.
Well, that's different. I would go there because I really want to see it.
Yeah. Okay, then let's plan it and do it.
I said I don't know when I want to go.
I don't know. You heard it here first. We just said you've got to just make it happen. Set the date, start saving, make it happen. Even if it's like 2-3 years from now and you've got to save, you figure out you've got to save this much, and then just start putting it away for your Alaska account.
But I have some other things I might want to do before Alaska. It's just my dream. That's not my dream vacation, but that's the one that came to my mind.
I got to prioritize.
Okay. All right. That. Wait, we'll see you.
See you next time.
Week.